Right then, Keir Starmer just got absolutely exposed as the weakest Prime Minister Britain's ever seen. And the evidence? He's literally too terrified to let Andy Burnham stand in a by-election. Think about that for a second. The man with a massive majority is so scared of his own party member that he blocked him from running. This isn't political strategy, this is full-blown panic. And what triggered this unprecedented move? Well, Gorton and Denton needs a new MP, and every single poll showed Andy Burnham was the only Labour candidate who could beat Reform UK. But instead of putting their best player forward, Starmer did what weak leaders do. He protected himself and handed Reform a gift-wrapped seat. According to Sacha Lord, a Labour insider who's watched this shambles unfold, we're witnessing the beginning of the end of Starmer's short stint as PM. Hit subscribe if you want the daily dose of political chaos delivered with actual analysis, because this story gets worse. Let me fill you in on what's been happening. Burnham spent time weighing up whether to run. He consulted ministers, MPs, even locked himself away with his family to make the decision. By Saturday evening, he'd sent his letter to the National Executive Committee. The next morning, Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood was doing the TV round saying Labour would put their best player forward. Seemed like a done deal, right? Then Starmer stepped in and blocked him entirely. The man who's transformed Greater Manchester, economically outperforming every other city region in the UK, creating thousands of jobs, attracting hundreds of millions in investment, wasn't good enough for Starmer's comfort. But here's where the rubber meets the road. This isn't about qualifications or electability. Number 10 literally sent advisors to Manchester to study how Burnham achieved all this success, hoping to replicate it elsewhere. They know he's brilliant. They're just terrified of him. And before we go any further, let's be real for a second. A Prime Minister with a stomping majority who's become more unpopular than Liz Truss, who was outlived by a lettuce, doesn't block talented MPs because of strategy. He blocks them because he's weak. Starmer's racked up 14 U-turns in 18 months. Captain Flip-Flop can't afford someone competent, making him look even worse by comparison. Here's where it gets interesting. The lies started immediately. Number 10 briefed the media that Labour couldn't afford the £5 million for a mayoral election. Absolute nonsense. Lord confirms Labour never supported Burnham's previous campaigns. They scraped together tens of thousands, not millions. Now here's the kicker. Burnham found out he'd been blocked by reading it in The Guardian. After 30 years of dedicated service, they told a newspaper before telling him. Then they claimed he'd been warned in advance, another outright lie they had to retract hours later. Subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown, because the incompetence is honestly breathtaking. So let's break down what this actually means for normal people. First, the immediate political impact is catastrophic. Labour would rather hand Reform UK a seat than allow their most successful regional leader back into Parliament. That's not strategy, that's cowardice. Second, the broader implications show Starmer's running a closed shop, London-centric club that's terrified of anything from the north. Third, the electoral consequences are coming fast. There's a by-election in 3 weeks and local elections on May 7th. Lord's predicting Starmer's in for an absolute kicking, with hard-working Labour councillors losing their jobs because of his weak leadership. So here's the deal. Every person involved agrees. Starmer's scared to death of Andy Burnham. And by trying to bury him, he's actually made him more popular than ever. The Burnham stock has gone up in value while Starmer's plummeted. Lord's predicting a leadership contest and a new PM by July. Keep an eye on this. Those May elections will tell us everything about whether Labour can survive their own Prime Minister. Subscribe if you want tomorrow's inevitable drama delivered with the same energy, because the King of the North isn't going anywhere, but Starmer's days are absolutely numbered.